Grandmas often think laws don't apply to them. However, when faced with the law, their behavior goes from erratic to humble. Let's look at 4 such incidents. On March 1, 2021, in Mundelein, Illinois, a traffic stop was initiated by the police due to a failure to signal and a headlight violation. The driver, identified as an 80-year-old woman named Glenadine Robert, seemed agitated from the beginning, expressing frustration with other drivers.
Over here, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm like, all these people are like flashing lights all over the place. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Do you have your driver's license and insurance?
Yeah, of course I do.
During the interaction, the officer noticed signs of potential alcohol consumption. Glenadine seemed defensive, insisting she had only had 1 drink hours ago.
How much have you had to drink today?
Not much.
Okay.
The officer proceeded to conduct field sobriety tests. However, Glenadine resisted the tests, expressing frustration due to her age and insisting on her capabilities as a driver. The officer continued to explain the importance of the tests in determining impairment. Glenadine's resistance escalated, and she became confrontational.
No.
I can explain it, and then you can decide if you want to do it.
No, what are you trying to do to me?
This is what I want you to do. I want you to stand just like this.
I cannot do that.
Okay.
Eventually, the situation escalated to the point where the officer decided to arrest Glenadine for driving under the influence. She resisted arrest physically, kicking and resisting the officer's attempts to place her in handcuffs. The scene was chaotic, with Glenadine expressing anger and frustration throughout the process.
Yes.
Do you want to provide a breath sample or not?
No.
Okay, turn around, put your hands behind your back.
No, ma'am.
Once in custody, she continued to resist, complaining about the tightness of the handcuffs and demanding her glasses. The officers struggled to control her, and she accused them of mistreatment and police brutality.
Hey, if you kick me, you're gonna get a charge. You need to stop. You need to stop, okay? Stop. What's wrong with you?
The arrest resulted in charges of aggravated battery to a police officer, misdemeanor DUI, reckless driving, battery, and resisting arrest. Glenadine was placed on 12-month court supervision, during which she completed the requirements, leading to the dismissal of all charges against her. Sometimes, people not only put their own lives at risk, but also jeopardize the lives of others, and that's what happens in the next case. On August 12, 2022, a police officer conducted a traffic stop where he pulled over a car driving erratically. The driver was an elderly lady with her grandchildren in the back seat of the car. The officer expresses concern about the driver's difficulty in maintaining a single lane and crossing into other lanes without signaling.
There was a black car that was behind you. Luckily enough, they were traveling a safe enough distance, but you went into their lane and then went back into the center lane.
The officer inquires about the presence of anyone else in the car and whether the driver has taken any substances, including alcohol or drugs, that might impair their ability to drive. The officer, not detecting any smell of alcohol and thinking everything was fine, decided to call another officer just to double-check.
You may want to talk to her just to double-check. I'm not getting anything, honestly.
The other officer approaches the driver and begins asking questions. Despite the officer's efforts to ensure the driver's well-being, the driver appears resistant and defensive, providing limited information.
I really can't hear you.
I said, you are not going to play games with them.
Right, I'm not playing games with them. You and I are talking.
The officer eventually decides to conduct a DUI investigation, informing the driver of their rights and asking if they would be willing to participate in field sobriety exercises. The driver remains uncooperative and indifferent, and expressing reluctance to answer questions or undergo field sobriety exercises.
Okay. Would you be willing to participate in field sobriety exercises?
Field sobriety?
Yes.
The officer decides to place the driver under arrest for DUI. She was charged with DUI and child abuse. If you think you've seen it all, brace yourself for what comes next. On July 8, 2023, in Illinois, police officers responded to a call involving a mother in a dispute with her son. The situation unfolded as officers attempted to handle the confrontation. As one officer engaged in conversation with the son, the mother began displaying uncooperative behavior towards the second officer.
I am trying to comply with the person who has threatened to arrest me if I do not comply.
The situation took a turn when the mother was informed that she was under arrest for domestic battery. She resisted, leading to a tense exchange with the officers. Throughout the interaction, the officers maintained a measured tone, repeatedly asking the mother to comply and attempting to ensure her safety.
Domestic battery because why?
As the officers struggled to get the mother into the squad car, she suddenly played possum, pretending to be asleep or unconscious.
Donna, we know you're okay because you're breathing and your eyes keep opening, so...
The officers had no choice but to lift her and place her in the car. The mother continued to question her arrest, emphasizing the lack of information provided and expressing her intention to sue the police department.
And I will be suing the Naperville Police.
In the end, the woman faced charges of 2 counts of domestic battery and resisting arrest. Erratic grandmas don't stop here. Let's see what happens in the next one. In July 2023, the chief of police in La Crosse, Wisconsin, responded to a call at a residence involving a woman named Melissa who was refusing to leave. Upon arrival at the residence, the chief spoke with Melissa's cousin, who reported that Melissa had created a disturbance the night before and had been asked to leave. Despite this, she returned, ringing the doorbell and wandering around the property for an hour. The cousin felt as if they were being held hostage in their own home.
We had a hard time getting there. We threatened to call the cops, and then finally I just kind of raised my voice and said, "We're kind enough to let you in so that you could rest here." And I said, "But now it's time to go."
Melissa was eventually located in the backyard, where she continued to resist leaving. The chief informed her that if she returned, she would be arrested for trespassing. Melissa, however, persisted in her refusal to comply. The chief repeatedly instructed her to grab her belongings and leave the property, as her presence was unwanted. After some back and forth between the chief and Melissa, she eventually left.
So the rules are, if you come back here and we get called back, you are going to jail.
Oh, really?
Yep.
For what?
For trespassing.
Approximately 20 minutes after leaving the scene, the chief received another disturbance call at a local business, reporting that Melissa was yelling at people in the parking lot. The chief returned to find Melissa claiming to be talking to turtles and refusing to leave private property.
Because you're causing a disturbance on private property.
Despite repeated attempts to de-escalate the situation, Melissa continued to resist, leading to her eventual arrest. During the arrest, she grabbed the trooper's radio, prompting the officers to secure her on the ground to prevent further resistance.
I'm gonna go to the ground if you stop. If you don't stop.
Help me!
In the police car, Melissa continued to assert her innocence, claiming she had done nothing wrong and expressing concern about being arrested without a warrant. The chief explained the reasons for the arrest, citing her disruptive behavior and refusal to leave private property.
This baby can't make up rules and throw it in the ground. Y'all did that to me before. I went to jail for nothing at all.
Upon arrival at the jail, Melissa continued to resist cooperation and was eventually placed in a jail cell. Throughout the entire incident, Melissa exhibited erratic behavior, making nonsensical statements and resisting lawful orders. Melissa was charged with resisting, obstructing an officer, and disorderly conduct. She was released a few days later on a $500 signature bond. Before you go, subscribe to our channel. See you next time.